Hi everyone. Today I thought I'd give you a little tour of my shop down in the basement. I know there's a lot of people that are new to Lapidary that watch this channel, and some people have asked about some of the tools I have, so I thought I'd take a minute and show you around. Alright, you got a fridge and freezer down here. There's an oven stove here. I used to brew beer, and that was what that was there for originally, and I'd like to take that out of there and put another cabinet right there, except my wife likes to use that occasionally when she needs an extra oven if we're having company over or something and cooking a lot of stuff. These are just some cloths that I have to put down as backdrops for pictures that I take sometimes. Sometimes the rocks in a box pictures, I use those for backdrop. And then my sink. I just want to point out something in the sink that's really handy. I would suggest getting a little screen like this that goes in the bottom of the drain. That way you're not losing little pieces of ceramic and plastic down the drain all the time. The holes were too big in this, so I got some window screen and cut it to fit in there, and that works really well. You don't have to buy a whole roll of screen. You can get little window screen patches, or like, I don't know, an inch or so, 2 inches wide, and just cut that to shape. All right, then we've got, kind of give you an overview of the whole room here. So let's start over here. Originally I had a table like this on this side of the room and another one on that side of the room, and that's where my kids did arts and crafts and stuff when they were little, so this was kind of their little room they could, make a mess in and nobody would get in trouble. I've got a Dremel here and a little drill press attachment. I use this for drilling little tiny holes. I've got a 1mm bit in there, so you've seen me use that in some of my videos if you've watched other videos. Before I move too far, I'll show you up here. This is my window. I've got covered up with this board. It's on hinges and I can pick it up, kind of like a shutter. I did that because the sun shines in here sometimes and kind of messes up my video, and it's shining real bright through there, so I just covered it up. I've got a drill press over here. This is not a Lapidary drill press. This is just a Ryobi drill press from Home Depot. And I use that for drilling larger holes. I can also use it for woodworking, so that's just a regular old drill press. A lot of my equipment is used. That Dremel is used. I think I bought the drill press attachment new for it, but the Dremel was used, and a lot of my stuff I bought used to save a lot of money that way. All right, so this is my filming studio also. So this is the view you see in a lot of my videos, and this is the camera equipment I use. So up here, this is where I have a microphone mounted right here usually. I'm using it right now, so it's not there currently. I've got my GoPro on a stand here, and then there's a camera up there. That's an older Sony camera, and I don't know what the specification is called, but that needs to be 2 meters away in order to zoom in. If I move it closer than that, it's blurry. So that's just barely 2 meters from where my table is. My demonstration table is where you can see those blue marks on the floor. By the way, my floor needs to be repainted. I've really destroyed it by getting water on it a lot. But anyhow, that needs to be 2 meters away, and I had to mount it way up there, so I have to climb up on this table every time I make a video to turn that on. And it's still not very clear. So if anybody knows anything about cameras and can recommend something that I can get a little bit closer and still be able to zoom, that's what gets my close-up shots, and the GoPro gets the wide shots. And then the microphone, I patch them all together on the computer. It's kind of a pain, but the microphone sounds a lot better. I just got that maybe 6 or 8 months ago, and it's not so echoey anymore. But I don't want to spend a lot of money on a new camera because I end up putting it on tripods close to my equipment, and it gets like mist with rock dust and it's sprayed all over it. So I don't want to spend $2,000 on a camera and then abuse it like that. Anyhow, back to the equipment. This is a flat lap. I'm pretty sure this is homemade. I got it once again used. Don't really know the background of it, but like I said, I'm almost 100% sure it's homemade. So the way this works is this spins around. This is diamonds on here. I made this part. This, you fill it up with water and then open up this little valve and it drips water on it as you work. And then this drains into a bucket when I'm actually using it. I put a bucket underneath and drain it. The lights there are for filming, so when I move that table over there, I'll show you a picture here where the table's moved over and the lights are aimed at it, and you can kind of see how it's set up when I'm filming down here. Up the stairs there is my garage. These stairs are really nice because I can move stuff in and out of here without going through the whole house. So up there I've got a 10-inch Lortone ST10 saw. That uses oil in it as a lubricant and a coolant. So I like to keep that out in the garage. It really doesn't make much of a mess. I could probably have it down here, but I'd rather keep that mess out there if there is any mess. All right, moving along. This cabinet here, this is the one that's on wheels that I move over there when I'm filming. So it just wheels right out. And if you've ever seen my rocks in a box videos, that started when I opened this up and showed all my tumbled rocks, and somebody said, "Oh my gosh, can you show us the rocks?" So I've got over 50 videos of rocks. I've got all these labeled by which video it was. So that was video 29. Most of that's up on the coffee table right now. So that doubles as my demonstration table and rock storage. Hey, here's another old saw, or old piece of equipment. This is probably from the 70s. It's a Frantom brand saw. It's made in California, it says right there. But Frantom, I like the name. It was actually, I don't know what the last name is, but it was a couple named Fran and Tom, and they just put their names together, and that was the name of the saw company or lapidary company. So if you want to know more about that, I did a video about beads, making beads, and I showed that saw in some depth in that video. In here, I have my Lotto Tumbler and a National Geographic tumbler there behind it. The National Geographic tumbler is not something I really need. I've got enough tumblers already, but I wanted to do a video on it, so I'm still working on a video on how to use that tumbler. So while I'm using it, it's going to be underneath here because this cuts down a lot of the noise. So this is underneath these stairs that go up to the garage. And by closing the doors, I can keep all that noise inside there, and I can't hear it upstairs at all. Not that those are super loud, but you can hear them upstairs if they're outside of there. By the way, you don't ever want to put a box or something over your tumblers because it'll get too hot, a small space like that with a motor running, and that's not good. All right, moving back over this way. I have my tumbler, and everything's off right now, so it's not rolling. So I don't have it completely full at this point. I can fit another 6-pound barrel here and 2 more 3-pound barrels there. I have some barrels from a Tumblers tumbler in the middle and the bottom there, and those tend to leak, so I've got that cookie sheet underneath there. And actually it caught some dirt already. Some drips came out of those. Somebody asked about this the other day. This is a piece of Kona dolomite. This is from Marquette. It's a stromatolite. Stromatolites, I think, are the oldest living thing in the earth. It's like an algae type thing, and this would have originally been up like this, or maybe the other way around, I don't know, but these are horizontal layers as the stuff settled in there. So it's just a big piece I polished up. I like a lot. All right, here's the next saw. This is a gem lap saw. This is made in Ferndale, Michigan. This is my favorite little trim saw. I've mentioned this in a lot of videos before, so excuse me if you've already heard this, but it cuts at a 90-degree angle where the blade hits here. The arbor's up higher on this saw. And so if I'm cutting, I make a lot of little stone crosses. And if you've ever cut something on a table saw and you try to cut like a 90-degree angle, it cuts deeper on the bottom than on the top, and it messes up your cut. So this saw doesn't do that, where this saw does. I use this saw for cutting Petoskey stones a lot, for slabbing Petoskey stones. I also make beads on it. Bigger rocks I can cut on there, so I use that for different purposes than this other one. Okay, moving along here. I don't think I've ever shown this on a video. This used to be on my desk at school. Just a little nameplate I made for myself. I thought this rock was going to be lighter colored on the inside, and then I cut it and it was gray, and I didn't have anything else, so the contrast isn't real good there. Some nice Petoskey stones over here, nice pudding stone. There's a piece of banded iron formation that I really liked a lot, and my rock tumbling trophy that's not allowed upstairs, so it's down here. This is my cab machine, or cabochon machine. So I think that's a Lortone that was rebranded as a Kingsley North machine, just because of the color. It wasn't the blue Lortone color. But I'm almost sure it's a Lortone cabbing machine. I got this used also. When I got it, it was all rusty, or it had some rust on it at least, particularly down in the tray here. So I removed all the rust and repainted it. These pans I actually just replaced because they were getting warped and rusty and stuff. But this is so when I'm cutting, as these wheels are turning and throwing rock dust down in the bottom, it's not dinging up the paint and making more rust. So those are just from the dollar store. So for $2 I can replace it rather than repainting everything. The cabinets down here, these contain rocks. So this is all rough rock in there, and mostly slabs on the bottom. Actually, I think that's all slabs on the bottom, and some other rough rock in smaller quantities on the top. And then over here, I've got my recycling on the left. Those two big tubs are just recycling stuff. These rocks are done with the first stage on the rotary tumbler, and they're ready to go into the Lotto Tumbler. So that's where I store those. And I've got I think this is some pudding stones. That's not enough to go in the tumbler yet. So as I get more in there, then they eventually go in there. So that's that. Up on top here, remember I said this saw over here is a gem lap? These two machines are gem lap also. This is another flat lap. I've never actually used it. My other one works fine. This is a backup in case the other one breaks or something. I got that one. Like I said, a lot of this is used, so a friend picked that up for me. I think I paid $50 for it, so I don't have a lot of money into it. This saw was my first saw. This is an 8-inch gem lap saw, and I just replaced it with the other ones, so I'm not currently using that one. And then in here, I have various other stuff. In the tackle box, I have jewelry making things, pliers and silver wire and stuff like that. I got some books. This is some Dremel stuff, just Dremel attachments, bits and things. This is a glass grinding machine, and I use that for cutting grooves and cabochons to make groove wraps. I have a video on that also, but that works really well to make a little groove around your rock, kind of like a router table. This is my DOP pot, so that melts wax, and then I can dip these little dowels in there. It's called a DOP stick. It's just a dowel. But then you can stick this on the back of a rock to make a cabochon. If you don't know what a cabochon is, that's like a domed rock that you'd make a piece of jewelry out of. So then you have a handle to work it with. I have a lot of colanders. The metal one I use for my rough grit for my first stage. And then all the other ones are by, oops, I got a piece of ceramic in there. But see, that says 1,000 on it. That's for my 1,000 stage, when I do 1,000 stage or polish or 500 or whatever. Those are just dollar store colanders, so then I don't have to worry about contaminating them by getting grit stuck in them. I've got one for every stage. This is really handy. I put this on top of a bucket. That's a gold classifier. For if you're panning gold, you can sift it out first and get it classified by size. I think that's 1/8 inch. And I put that on top of a bucket, and then I pour my stuff through that, and it catches any of those ceramics that fall out. I go through a lot of dish soap, so I buy that at the dollar store also. Here I got some stencils for marking out in different shapes, some sandpapers for polishing Petoskey stones. Just toothbrushes are kind of nice to have to clean rocks. Another dollar store thing I buy. May as well buy a brand new toothbrush and get 2 of them for $1. So I've got another really old Dremel I use with Zam for polishing Petoskey stones mainly. This is my rock breaking setup. If I'm tumbling rocks and I find one with a big crack in it and I just want to break it along the crack, I put that over top of the rock. I use the chisel through the hole and hit it with a hammer. And this goes on the floor to protect the floor. And then down in the bottom, I have different polishes and grits and ceramic media, borax, all that kind of stuff. A couple Lotto barrels down there in the bottom. I have a special barrel just for polish for the Lotto. So, next I'm going to show you a couple tumblers that are tucked away around the corner. So I'm going to get those tumblers out and show you those. Now, before I show you the tumblers, I have to admit to you that this video is a huge lie. Everybody comments on how neat and tidy my shop is. So I'm going to admit that it is not nearly as neat and tidy as it looks right now. I just spent a bunch of time cleaning it up, and I thought, well, this is a good time to do a video. So normally, when you see me, you're seeing this view here, and all the stuff, all my mess, I just move over to this table. So a lot of times this table is completely covered with stuff, and I don't show you that. So I like my videos to look nice and neat, so you're not distracted by all my clutter, so the clutter just goes behind the camera. So there you go. I didn't lie to you. So this is my first tumbler. This is a Loratone 33B. It's called a 33 because it's got two 3-pound barrels on it. So this was a good choice for my first tumbler. Actually, we got this for my son and I as a Christmas gift one year. That's how I got into this whole thing, is he liked shiny rocks and gift shops. So we thought, well, this would be a good gift for him. So we got it for the two of us, and we did it together for a couple of years. And then he got a little bit older and got into different things and kind of lost interest in polishing rocks a little bit. He still likes rocks, he just doesn't tumble them anymore. So that was my first tumbler. My second tumbler was the Lotto Vibratory tumbler you saw under the stairs. I bought that before I was done with my first batch in this one, and glad I did that too. Then I bought this like a year later maybe. This is a Loratone QT66. So it's called a 66 or 66 because it has two 6-pound barrels on it. But you can also put a 12-pound barrel in that same machine. So that'd be called a QT12. So the only difference between those tumblers is it's either got two 6-pound barrels or one 12-pound barrel. Then the other tumbler I bought a year or two after that is this Tumblers tumbler, and I don't really like this machine too much. The main thing I don't like is the barrel design. My neighbor Sam's been using this in his garage for the last year, and he just brought it back the other day, and he had some rocks going in it, so we put them in my big cabinet tumbler. But you can see it's leaking all the way around the edge of the barrel there. That's the main thing I don't like. I actually have a cookie sheet, I think you saw it inside the tumbler, a cookie sheet underneath to catch all the drippings. When these lids wear out, they're a hard plastic lid, and they wear through eventually, and they wear through right in the middle. And so they end up getting a little hole in the middle, and then the grit leaks out there, and all of a sudden all the grit's out, and they're just a mess. And those lids only last for about 2 months, and you need to buy a new lid. The Loratone lids wear out too, but they last a lot longer, and when they wear out, they don't leak. So I once in a while the barrels will hop off the track, so don't like that. But the people that have the big tumblers, the Model B, it's a 15-pound tumbler, those people seem to really like them. So I think they make some good tumblers. This just isn't one of them. So, if you have any questions, please ask. And if you've never watched any of my videos before, I'll have a link to a couple videos here, and feel free to check out some of those and see how I use some of this equipment. Thanks for watching. See you next time.